Lower time frame entries. So many people struggle with lower time frame. They'll have a great bias, and some people are actually really good at calling the markets. However, a lot of people struggle when it comes to entering the market, where to place their stop losses, where to take their profits. And in today's video, we're going to clear all of that up, and I'm going to give you guys 4 of my favorite lower time frame entries. Now, if you guys don't know who I am and you're here for the first time, my name is Omar and I've been trading well over 6 years. And the big thing, especially in this industry, is why you should listen to me. And here's just some of the accolades that I've had over the last year and a half, where I made well over 6 figures with prop firms. I've traded multiple firms. I've gotten multiple payouts, multiple max allocation, passed multiple evaluations. And here are just a few of the many certificates that I have under my belt. Also, this is just currently right now, top 3 currently on the leaderboard. You guys can see right here, train and trade. And I'm going to post a payout for this in a simple guide on how you can replicate these exact same results. So make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be dropping a video once this payout gets issued. And I'll go ahead and give you guys a full system and guide that you can follow to trade with props. But again, over here, 12.6%. So, and again, this was about a week worth of trading. My payout is due this week on June 1st. So I'll go ahead and make a separate video on that. So make sure to subscribe. But $12,500 payout will be, after the profit split, will be about a little over $10,000. So again, there's credibility to what I teach. Now, if you guys want the PDF to this presentation, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to put the link of my Instagram in the description. Put lower time frame entry, message me that, DM me that, and you will get an automatic response that will send you these PDFs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into lower time frame entries. So here are the keys to lower time frame entries, right? They should be used in conjunction with the higher time frame bias and their level. Because the thing is this, so many people, they just go ahead and they just view a specific entry model, and whenever they see it, they want to enter it. The key is to use it in conjunction with the higher time frame. Now, if you guys struggle with the top-down analysis approach, I just uploaded a video prior to this one, but I'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can go ahead and make sure to check out that video because it breaks down how you go from higher time frame down to the lower time frame. And now this video will tell you how to go ahead and enter the marketplace. So there are 3 major key elements when we're ever identifying a key lower time frame entry model. So let's go ahead and discuss those 3 components. Now, a great lower time frame entry will have 3 components. It'll have a stop run, it'll have displacement, and it'll have a proper time window. So if we can place these elements into our entry models, it'll add to our success. I touched upon it briefly in the last video on specific time windows I like to trade. So New York session, it'll be anywhere between, a wide array would be 7 to 10 a.m. A lot more specific would be 8 to 9 a.m. New York Open. Those are my favorite time windows just because, again, I'm here in the States. So it's much easier for me to be alert and awake during the New York Open. London Open is around 2 to 4 a.m., but a specific time window, 3 to 4 a.m. So again, if you use these lower time frame entry models that I'm about to show you, and you place it with the proper time window, you place it with displacement, so you see the market aggressively moving away from that key level, and you see a stop run that's being occurred during that time window, you have a very high probability play that's on your hands for a lower time frame entry, especially if you're able to couple that up with the higher time frame bias. So let's go ahead and let's get into the first entry technique that I use. Here are the 4. So number 1 is a market structure break. I'm not going to cover that one in depth because we covered it in the last video and I don't want this video to be way too long. However, market structure break, very simplistic one. But we're going to talk about these 3. BPR, so balanced price range, turnaround bars, and failed structural setups. These are some of my favorite plays. These 4 is all you need. Do I have a little bit more than this? Yeah. However, these are the ones I typically like to see on a daily basis. So let's go ahead and let's get into the first one. The first one I'm going to talk about is the turnaround bar. And it's very important that I preface this. I think it's important whenever someone's learning that they attach specific terminology to concepts because it helps the brain learn and remember these types of concepts. And again, if you guys have the PDF slides to this, you're able to kind of just, print them out, maybe download it as a PDF, have it next to you during your trading session if you enjoy the concepts, if you enjoy the setups. So let's get into it. So the turnaround bar. Again, I'm looking for a market structure break. And the key for the key for the turnaround bar is this. I want to see, obviously, again, let's just assume this is in the proper time window. We have the market clearing liquidity inside of a time window. And this was actually a trade that I called with my private group on Euro USD. This was an M5 chart. This is the turnaround bar where we have this big push up in here, price clears liquidity. We then go into a consolidating market, and then we have another boom, expansion to the opposing side. Now think of the psychology of this for a trader. Typically, when you see big, wide range candles, a lot of people chase price because it's kind of inciting people to take action. The market then goes into consolidation. It even retests this bullish fair value gap, which is key in this component. It has to have a test of the fair value gap, or like, let's just say this prior consolidation before the move up. Once we have this low that's formed, we see the market still being in a range. And then this is a key element of the turnaround bar. We have an aggressive sell-off against this one. So we broke market structure. We have a big push up, consolidation, and then a big displacement move lower. Now this, again, anyone who went long in here gets trapped and price breaks down and we have a displacement. How do we know we have displacement? This fair value gap that forms in here. So we could take that full range from candles low to all the way to the high for that prior consolidation. This is going to be our potential entry technique. Now, again, guys, the whole point of this turnaround bar is it has to be a bullish fair value gap that gets retested. Price can make a new high, doesn't matter, but ultimately the low that was formed at this bullish fair value gap gets broken down and then also has a bearish imbalance. That's very key. And that's why I call it the turnaround bar, because we have one bar that pushes up into a key level during a specific time window. And then what happens is the market goes into consolidation and we break back below. And we also break market structure and we create the bearish fair value gap. That to me shows that there's a change in the state of price. Price went from a bullish structure back into a bearish structure. It also has trapped traders because people who are looking for longs are now trapped in this position. And that's why I kind of identify the full range of the consolidation. And then we just look for any downside liquidity pool as an objective. So here's a perfect example of it. So I'm going to show you guys play by play on this. Again, liquidity is being swept. We have the low that forms at this reference point. Price does push up, gives a reaction. However, we kind of fail. Price is weak and price breaks back below. So now we just have the turnaround of the overall price swing. So I highlight that entry right here because you could enter pretty much at the candle low or at this fair value gap or inside of this range. It doesn't really matter. The way that you want to manage your trade is realistically going to be up to you. I like to just take the entry when we kind of rally back into the fair value gap. And again, we have that confluence of that prior low. So we have a prior low with a fair value gap and we get the first test. Beautiful confluences that we see. Your stop loss can ideally be above the range high, so the consolidation before the move down. Or if you're someone who's very aggressive with your stop, you can just put it above the candle of the fair value gap. So the fair value gap is 1, 2, 3. So that first candle bar, you could put your stop loss above there. If you're someone who's very aggressive with your stop, and we see the market ultimately drop lower, come back up into these lows in here, and beautiful, beautiful setup. And again, guys, it's a very simple concept. The whole idea is that you have a big bar up, retest, the market kind of goes into consolidation. We break back below with displacement with a bearish fair value gap. That, to me, is indicative of the market changing state in terms of price action. So we go from a bullish market to a bearish market. It's similar to a market structure break, but I require these big range candles to form in order for me to have that setup. Now, the next play that I'm going to talk about is one of my favorites as well. It's the failed structural play. I was hesitant on putting this one in there as well because, again, it's something that I teach with my private group. However, I want to realistically bring a lot of people some help and some of the best content that I have in trades. So what is a failed structural play? It's very, very simple. Typically, this is what you have to view. The marketplace goes from bullish to bearish. However, every single time when we look for a bullish market structure, we're looking for potential higher lows. So this is the failed structural play in here. We have a bullish impulse. And again, the market is still bullish, right? We're creating higher highs, higher lows. However, At some point, and it's funny because people who don't necessarily trade structure, they'll automatically say, oh, but why didn't this market structure break? Or how come this retest failed? But you have to understand a key component when it comes to market structure. Market structure at some point won't work because if price is just not going to make higher lows and higher highs every single time. At some point, there's going to be a reversal. So imagine that we were creating this price action. We're inside of a time window, and then this impulse push up. Maybe we hit a higher time frame level, right? Maybe we cleared buy side liquidity on a daily chart, on a weekly time frame. Maybe we're hitting a fair value gap. Maybe at some point the market is going to reverse. So how do I play this? Typically, I like to see a retest in here. The market pushes up. However, what I want to see next is the market have a breakdown below and a close below that prior potential higher low point. Because again, if the market is bullish, right? So let's just say swing low, swing high, potential higher low. If the market was going to make new highs, how many people are buying up in here looking for that new high? However, we get a displacement move below that candle low. And that's the key. It has to close below. So again, let's go over the steps. Price rally off of a key level. So we have this fair value gap. Price sweeps higher. So we took out this prior high. And then why is that key for me is because, again, I want to see people. The whole idea of this is like anyone who's continuously buying is going to be trapped inside of this overall price structure. Price then fails to make a new high and closes below the low. So again, we don't make a new high overall. That's why it's called the failed structural play, because the market fails to make a new high, and vice versa for shorts. Retest of the prior structure, and then we target the next downside liquidity. So the structure is going to be from swing low to swing high. This is going to be our range for entries. We're going to have our trend line liquidity that's resting, and that's going to be an area that we're going to look to target. Very simplistic in nature. So again, here's the entry zone, right? So again, swing low to swing high. Market closed beneath that range. Beautiful. And again, the idea is people are getting trapped in here. Anyone who's going long is now potentially underwater. And boom, it retests, price drops aggressively lower. Now, some people will say, but hey, do you necessarily have to kind of wait for the fair value gap to form? And this is the thing that most people have to understand. When we get this displacement candle, the next candle, you can kind of just take an entry and assume that the fair value gap is going to form, especially if it's a 5-minute bar. Because at this point, sometimes what happens, if you have a bunch of liquidity that's resting and you have the market already cleaning stops, sometimes you won't get that retest and we'll get what is known as a breakaway gap, meaning the market will not retest that fair value gap and it'll just seek downside liquidity. And that's why sometimes I just draw out the entry zone. If price comes back in it, as long as we have the candle closure, sometimes I'll just enter on a retest. Is it a little bit more risky? Sure, because if the next candle is like a bullish candle like that and just completely engulfs that last candle, it's a little bit of a higher risk. But again, it's a 5-minute bar. So maybe if you want to enter on the last minute of the 5-minute bar, that's something you can do as well. However, stop loss always has to go above that prior swing. And then we look for that downside move. And again, the key is this in terms of structure. We're just looking for the market to fail to make new highs. And when it breaks back down, we use this overall range for our entry zone. And then we have a beautiful downside liquidity. So again, very simplistic in concepts. However, the whole point of the two, and I really want people to understand, is these two concepts that I just talked about allows me to really understand the psychology of a trader and who is trapped, who's underwater based off of concepts that's widely learned. And again, the market, if 99% of people are failing, what do we have to do to be part of the 1%? And these are the concepts that I've come up with as well over my 6 years of experience with journaling. Now, this one is a really big favorite of mine. Balanced price ranges. Balanced price ranges, if you guys are not familiar, you guys will learn, but this is something that ICT has taught as well. And it's a very simplistic concept. So it's very similar to the turnaround bar but the turnaround bar doesn't have turnaround bar has the retest. A balanced price range, however, is a bearish fair value gap that gets overtaken by a bullish fair value gap and vice versa. Now, the entry will always be at the bullish fair value gap. And again, this is for long ideas, and the stops are going to be under the low. So when we get this type of balanced price range, this is a really favorite pattern of mine. We have this big candle down. We have that second candle in here, which is just kind of like a doji. And then we have, boom, another bullish, really wide range candle. This bearish fair value gap is now overtaken by this bullish one that was just formed after this candle was formed. Now, some people will say, hey, but this didn't necessarily break any market structure. But this is what's lovely about the balanced price range. If this forms inside of a time window at a key higher time frame level, which again is key to all these lower time frame entries, it's not just a pattern. It must occur during a time window. It must occur at a really key higher time frame level, and you need to have intraday cycle setups. So again, you need to have these 3 key elements, and you use these as confirmations for your entries. So again, simplistically, I just like you could enter at the fair value gap high. You could put the stop loss at the low. Some people who are a little bit more aggressive will put the stop loss right under the fair value gap. Some people will put it under this candle bar low, pretty much to protect the overall swing. It's up to you, however you want to do it. But these are like some ways that some people do it. So again, and the key thing is that there's like a bunch of trend line liquidity. We have objectives upside, so we can go ahead and look to target these levels. So again, and this, I just talked about this also in my public Telegram. If you're not a part of that, make sure to check it out. I honestly think it's one of the best public Telegrams out there with trading education and live trade ideas. And I talked about this. When you want to journal the market like this when you're supposed to enter, so you can train your mind to see how the market looks when you're supposed to be entering. This is a very key component to how I've built up the journaling that I've done over the past few years. Now, again, this is going to be like pretty much the entry. Stop loss, again, is going to be up to you. Do you want to make it a little bit more wide? Do you want to make it somewhat aggressive? Do you want to make it really aggressive? That's up to you. And then we see this. And this is the thing. When the market hits these levels, you should see beautiful, wide range candles in your direction. You don't want to see like consolidation. Sure. It just, like when you get these types of candles, it's just, you get wide ranges. You see the market pushing in your favor. That just helps a significant amount. So again, it takes out the liquidity, and then you can start taking profit around these areas. It's realistically up to you how you want to manage and take profits. The trade management portion is completely up to you. If you guys want like an extra video on trade management, how I do it, I posted it in my public Telegram, but let me know and I can make a very separate YouTube video when it comes to a full guide on how to manage your trades. So again, those are the 3. Market structure break was in my prior video, so I highly recommend watching that. And here are the key takeaways. I always want to end up with key takeaways to kind of refresh everything that we just spoke about. Number 1, entry patterns, guys, are just patterns. We need to use them with the proper framework. Everything that I showed you must occur, again, simple stuff. It must occur during a specific time window. It must occur with higher time frame bias. It must occur at a key higher time frame level. And when we have all these components together, especially with intraday cycles, this will allow us to really find the best optimal setups that we can find. Now, we must also use them, again, proper time windows, and time and price theory is something that's spoken about a lot. However, I personally have not seen anyone who really spoke about it at such a very simplistic manner. I feel like so many people complicate time and price. So let me know in the comment section, guys, if you want me to make a full dedicated video on time and price and how you can limit your trading to only about 60 to 90 minutes a day. If you guys are interested in that video, let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe as I'm going to be posting weekly content on this channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.